Hello, wonderful people. Welcome to this week. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm talking about circular movements in animals and people, and I'm talking about the big shift. Tell you all about it on the other side. So let me start by telling you a story. I want to tell you a story. Okay, so this story is about Diogenes. Do you know Diogenes? Lived up a pole in a barrel for quite a while. Diogenes one day was eating lentils, a plate of lentils, okay, and just enjoying his lentils there. And Aristotle came by. Now, Aristotle at that time was living in the palace with the king, and by way of providing the king adulation and his wisdom, lived with the king. And Aristotle looked at Diogenes eating his lentils, and he said, do you know what? If you just swallowed your pride and give the king your adulation, you wouldn't have to be sitting there eating lentils. And Diogenes said, you know what, Aristotle? If you could get used to eating lentils, you wouldn't have to be wasting your life praising the king. Maybe that's where we are these days, eh? Maybe we need to understand that it's actually better just sit and eat your lentils than it is to play the game. So, we mentioned about the animals going round in circles, okay? And I was asking the emissaries what they thought of that. And what I'm aware of is this, right? Since they came to me, and they at the beginning it was like really intense. I've kind of normalized it now, but at the beginning it was really intense because I was getting this lots of information coming to me, lots of like moments, you know, those light bulb, oh my God, not happening all of the time. And I was able to, I was having these thoughts that I was aware weren't mine. So what I'm aware of now is that when somebody asks a question, I have my thoughts on the matter. But what I'm aware of is that my thoughts are actually, when I ask the emissaries, they're very similar thoughts. And I think maybe now it's kind of instantly I get the feeling that this is what they would think, okay? So I had very similar thoughts. Anyway, they said what it is that we're in an extremely big, they said this was an extremely big energetic shift. They didn't go into details, they just said extremely big. The biggest yet. And they said that what happened was the animals became disoriented and they had to go round in circles to reorientate themselves again. All right? But then, so that was kind of what I thought. And what lots of other people have thought as well. But then they showed me images in my mind, because they kind of give me pictures of the people doing this. Have you seen the videos? The many, I thought it was just, one or two. No, there are zillions of people going round and round before they collapse. And they said that was linked to it. How? I don't know. But I said, well, what does that mean? And I said, is that going to happen to everybody? Who's had that? And they said, no. It's to do with the people who are hypersensitive to the energy shift, and it's affecting them a lot more. Okay, that was what they said. They didn't really go into any more detail. They normally don't. But I just thought it was an interesting parallel that we've seen a lot of people just spinning around and then just collapse into the floor. Obviously, the animals haven't done that because they have they haven't had that, for example. Yeah. I did ask them, I said, well, this thing that's happening to people, the people that may have had that and repented from it, how can they protect themselves during these periods of high energy? And they just said, cleanse. They repeated the word cleanse. There are lots of information already. So, for those who did take that, just start looking around at all of the cleanses. And, in my book, what I say is throw the kitchen sink at it. Don't just do one little thing and go, well, I didn't really do anything. Do whatever do whatever, and something is like, if you throw enough shit at the wall, some of it's going to stick, yeah? And it's the same with, if you throw enough processes at your body, some of them are going to take effect, okay? All right. So listen, this bit I'm going to tell you is actually from a week ago or more. So at the time when I joined with the emissaries, I was noticing, I was feeling very, very scared, like this impending doom type of feeling. I've had it lots of times, okay? And I said to them, so what's that about? Why am I feeling that? And they said, it's because of the enormous shift that has just happened, the biggest one yet. But they said that it's now bedded into place, and now it's firmly bedded into place. How do I know personally? Because that feeling's gone now, and I feel quite excited again. And isn't it funny, this kind of like wave of like, oh my God, and then suddenly the world looks bright again, and it's because of these shifts that are happening. So I said to them, well, if that's the big shift, what's the next phase then? Where does that take us to? And they said that it's going to take us to pretty much what we've been saying, and what many people are saying. It's going to take us to a period of revelation in a very big way. They said that it's going to be so there are going to be so many revelations happening that we won't be able to keep up with them. Right? Like that already. For me, it's like that already. It's just, I mean, overload with so many things happening, and so many good things as well. So many good things. There's a tremendous amount of events happening all over, which are events in our favour. Every time I see them, in our favour. And I just know that somebody said the other day, where was I hearing it? Might be this morning on a video, that we are the ones in power now. We are the ones who are finding our power. And it's the baddies that are really, really starting to get scared now. They're really starting to get scared because they are seeing it slipping out through the fingers. It's getting way out of hand now. And it truly is. I mean, I can't keep up with what's happening. I just can't, what the portion of information we get is minuscule to the information that's out there. And yeah, we get some repetition, but there's so much happening, and loads of beautiful things, and loads of beautiful people everywhere doing beautiful things. I was hearing some the German lawyer, the one who's American German. He's been doing brilliant work. I don't know what his name is. He's been doing some great work, and he was talking about percentages of awakened people, just his perception. And he was saying that in the US, 50 to 60% of the people have woken up to something. 50 to 60%. He said in Europe has the least amount of awakened people in his, because he travels around a lot. He was saying in Africa it's very high, in India very high, yeah. In Europe between 20 and 30%. So it makes sense, I suppose, when the emissaries were saying that we're about 40%. As an average throughout the world, that probably works out to be about right. In the countries, he was saying, in the countries that used to be in the Eastern Bloc, the countries that were linked to communism and all of that, they woke up yonks ago. Why did they wake up yonks ago? Because they've seen it, they've lived through it. And so it's like, this is, I've seen this shit before, yeah? Whereas for other people, well, it was a long time ago, and we've forgotten, and maybe 3 generations have passed. But the ones who've lived through it, or the parents have lived through it, they can smell it a mile off. So, pretty much 40% in the world, maybe coming up, based on this big shift. So the emissary said that the next, and I suppose the next phase, however long that phase lasts, I don't know. But it's going to be a bumpy ride. A bumpy ride. They likened it to a ghost train ride. For those, and I don't know, I said this to an American, they didn't know what the ghost train was. But the ghost train is when you go to the fun fair, the attraction park, and you get on a ride that you go through and they give you scares and things like that. Well, that's what the emissary said it's going to be like. So they were saying it was going to be scary because of the people who were going to lose grip on their reality. Okay, this is a very scary thing. When you lose grip on your reality, you've got this idea of how the world is, and then suddenly it's not that. In fact, it's the absolute opposite. You think everything's good, and in fact, it's fucking awful. Yeah, that's a big, big reality shift, and that's the ghost train that many people are going to have to go through. Remember, for us who are already awake on a process of awakeness, and I'm going to talk about that in the next video, the process of awaking, many of us are already we're just going to have confirmation. Yeah, we're going to have confirmation of what we already know. Yeah, so thank God, this last 17 years, 18 years of being awake was worth it, so that I don't get a shock, because I don't want, I'm up to here with shocks. I've had all the shocks. I don't want any more shocks. I want to go, I want this. I want the revelation to be me sitting there with a straw in my mouth, a bit of in the sun, going, nah, seen that one? Yeah, absolutely. I knew that, and I don't mind every now and again, like having a, oh my God, I didn't know that. But like within the context of already knowing it. What I don't want is that like, I've had them. I've had enough. How do you feel? I think we've had enough of them. Leave that for the people who have to come through this, who at the moment believe that everything's nice in the world and that the government loves them. Yeah? Let them cry their fucking eyes out. I just want to be sitting there, chilled, not with a beer because I don't drink alcohol, maybe with a glass of sparkly water. Yeah? Just to make it look like it's something. And observe. I just want to observe what's happening. And then at the appropriate moment, when everybody's caught up, then I'll stand up and I'll start walking again. I want to have a bit of a sit down. Sit down and watch. Yeah. I did ask them, the emissaries, what the next part of the revelation will be, and they said the media. That's what they said. The media. Quite how that's going to work, I would imagine, well, obviously, quite how it's going to work. That's obvious how it's going to work. The media is going to start to have to reveal things. So the revelation will come through the media or through something similar to the media or whatever. So let's see what happens. That's interesting, isn't it? This is what I wanted to say to you. I'll finish with this. What I'm seeing is this, that in all areas now, people are waking up to what's happening. But remember that waking up is across all areas. And so what I'm starting to see is that reporters, writers, people who work in the media are also starting to wake up. Because they're not separate from us. They're not apart. They're going to wake up. Doctors are starting to wake up. I saw something just the other day here in Spain. Somebody put a tweet saying that their family, who were complete believers and fully hinged up, all got the flu, and for a month and a half can't lift their head up. Went to the doctor and said, please help us, we can't get rid of this. And the doctor said, you're one of many, and it's because of this. Everybody who's got this is starting to get flu, and it's not going away. Okay? So that for that doctor to say that, he's got to have woken up. And what I'm saying, this is what I feel will happen next year. Talking about the media, I think what's going to happen is that the people in the media are going to be waking up, and they're going to force the shift in the narrative. Yeah, because at the moment what's happening is they're just behaving like nodding dogs under, like pull the tail and the monkey dances. They're reading off scripts. But look what we've seen, reporters reporting and then going off script and saying their stuff. I think we're going to probably see a bit more of that, or we're going to start seeing rebellion or people leaving and starting their own channels and stuff like that. I think we're going to get more and more of that. Interesting, fascinating times that we're in. It's so exciting, isn't it? And remember, at the end of it all, at the end of the day, right? That's my one of my relatives says, at the end of the day, right? At the end of it all, it's good. It's going to be good. It's going to be nice. It's going to be beautiful. And I'm going to talk about this in the next video, that we must understand what that process is a bit, so that we don't get frustrated with it, because we can get frustrated with it. Yeah. So I'll tell you all about that in the next video. But for the moment, I'm going to leave you. I love you all so much, and thank you for all of the support, and I'll see you on Friday. Bye-bye.